let's talk about the big news. And this is, when I saw this, I mean, Carter was going wild on the group chat that we have.
No pun
Kirill
intended.
Kaprizov reportedly rejected an 8-year. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. He reportedly rejected an 8-year, $128 million extension with the Wild that would have seen him become the highest paid player in NHL history, per Frank Seravalli. It was reported multiple times over the recent weeks that Minnesota is willing to go to a $16 million AAV, with Kaprizov returning to North America this week. He is one of the many top pending UFAs in 2026. So, Carter, I have a lot of thoughts here, a lot of thoughts that I want to discuss. But I want to turn it over to you. I don't even know what to ask you. So just give me your thoughts on this, because him rejecting a $16 million per contract is wild. So what do you think about this whole thing?
These Russians, man, are so hard to freaking read. I don't know if it's about the team, if it's about the money. I don't know. We went through this whole thing with Shesterkin 2 years ago or last year. I can't even remember.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. So I don't know. It's kind of funny to me that he's kind of rejected this. I think that if he's asking for more than 16, I mean, he's kind of out of his mind. But even 16, I'm like, damn, that's a little bit of a stretch. I know he's super talented, but he's not the healthiest guy in the world. So it'd make me a little scared shelling that much out to him. So my kind of stopping point for him would have been about 15, but I mean, he's got all the talent in the world for 16. So I don't know what it is he's after. I don't know if he doesn't like the team. I don't know if he doesn't like the money, which both options are up in the air right now. But as a Jets fan who does not like the Wild, I am quite happy with this. Unless he goes to Colorado, Dallas, or something like that. Any other team in the Central,
until he goes within the division. He goes within the division. That would be funny. I actually disagree with the fact that you think the max you would go is 15. I would go more than 16. I think money is not the issue here, but I will discuss it first. Kaprizov is unbelievably valuable to Minnesota. In the first half of the year, Minnesota's offensive metrics were phenomenal. Kaprizov was on this absolute tear. I don't know if you remember, but Minnesota was one of the top teams in the NHL all the way up until New Year's. And then Kaprizov goes down with that injury. He misses a month or two. And as a result, oh yeah, there's Winnipeg.
Shut up. No,
Winnipeg's not involved in this conversation.
No, I was pointing at you because I said my main point as to why I wouldn't probably reach up to 16 was the injury. So thank you for giving me my point too.
Okay, sure, but when Kaprizov wasn't with the Minnesota Wild and he was injured, the Wild had some of the worst offensive metrics of any team. They were just barely above 500. They were dealing with other injuries too. So I think the value is purely there. If Kaprizov goes out even a couple weeks earlier than he did, I think the Wild might miss the playoffs. You forget they were right there battling with the Calgary Flames, and the St. Louis Blues were just a point back of them. So it's not Minnesota was this phenomenal team in the regular season, and they do have a great core surrounding Kaprizov, but Kaprizov's their main guy. So I just wanted to discuss that with the money, but I don't really think it's the money, in my honest opinion. I think this might actually be something about potentially either the term, I think could be a disagreement, or just the overall team. Maybe he doesn't want to come back to Minnesota. I mean, we don't really know what's going on there. Maybe he doesn't want to play for the Minnesota Wild. The other thing it could be too is, and somebody messaged me today and brought up a really good point, and I was like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So one of the things that one of the people who messaged me on social media was speculating, he said that he thinks that he's going for a bridge deal, and when the cap goes up even more, he'll sign another large deal, which that makes sense from an exponential point where, you look at Minnesota and the cap is rising. It's rising up drastically. It's getting better and better. Maybe he wants to take a bridge deal like we've seen guys like Matthews take, and there's a few other players who have taken bridge deals like that in previous years, and then they want to get an even higher pay raise in like maybe 3 to 4 years. So maybe that's the case. But the other case may be, and I feel like this is a big factor with Minnesota, maybe he doesn't want to lock himself up to a long-term contract because of Minnesota's playoff success. They have had a massive lack of playoff success over the last, I would say, ever since Kaprizov got here and the last 10, 15 years before that. They have been consistent, either missing the playoffs or first-round exits, and they haven't shown real success in the playoffs. So maybe Kaprizov's like, I don't want to sign a full 8-year deal here because of the fact that all the years that I've been here, with some of the deadline moves that they've made and such, they haven't had any playoff success. So maybe that's the factor there. Like, he wants to see some playoff success. Maybe he does want to stay, but he also wants to win a Stanley Cup. And maybe he won't win that in Minnesota. And he wants to see progress from them, going from a team who missed the playoffs to a team who's like still improving, getting past the first round, playing even better. And I think we did see a little bit of that last year. They handled Vegas very well. It just, Vegas was a better team. I don't know. That's what I'm speculating. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that, but I don't really think it's the money, to be honest with you. I think it might just be the term and, not seeing that success in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think well, I think term's a good point there. I definitely do think that term probably does play a big factor into that, because I think that, I think we're seeing with a lot of these guys who are getting up there in age, McDavid in particular, who's been all over the headlines lately for his contract. They want to win. And I think that that's one of the biggest things right now, is when their careers are all said and done. If Kaprizov wants to try to be one of the greatest Russians ever, he's going to need a Stanley Cup. I think that was the same thing with Ovi, what he was chasing earlier on in his career, like 10 years ago. He needs a cup. Everything about him was, he's an amazing player, but he doesn't have a cup. And when Kaprizov starts getting up there in age, when he's in his prime, and he's not even competing for a Stanley Cup, it's kind of like, well, is he really the greatest Russian? He can't win. He hasn't won in the playoffs yet, right? So that's why it's kind of hard. That's why, some other players who might not have the cup but get to the playoffs and perform really well, and the regular season might not be as good. Like, you look at Jordan Binnington. I mean, he's gets this thrown out at him that he's not a good goalie, especially by me and sometimes by us in general. Is like, he's not a good goalie, all this and that. But then you watch him in the playoffs when it matters, and you're like, he's a Stanley Cup champion. He knows how to win. Like, he could go down as an amazing goalie for Canada. Not the greatest ever, but he could go down as a great Canadian goaltender. So I think that that's something that definitely is going to start. We're going to start seeing a lot matter more to these players, because at the end of the day, so many of these kids and now young adults are realizing, like, man, I'm running out of time to win a Stanley Cup, and everybody's dream is to win a Stanley Cup. It's not to score, 1,000 points in the NHL. It's not to be, the best player on your team all the time consistently. It's about winning a cup. It's what every kid dreamed about, and I can guarantee that's probably what's going through Kirill's mind as well. So if it is money, then bridge deal, and then he'll get his money once that bridge deal is up, and he can kind of figure out what percentage of the cap he wants to take. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's just about winning.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it's about money, because there's a lot of Russians who tend to be like, I want to be paid this and only this, and maybe that wasn't enough for Kaprizov. I really do think, though, like, it is about winning, and like how this team has not been able to go far in the playoffs ever since Kaprizov was even drafted in 2015 by the team. So that's a factor there, I think. Now I'm going to pull a Canadian and make this about the Edmonton Oilers in some way of the imagination. So you see Kaprizov reject this $16 million contract. What do you think this means for Connor McDavid? Because McDavid is better than Kaprizov, right? Therefore, that means he should be paid more money. Yeah, that means he should be paid more money than Kaprizov. So, like, either way, whether he signs that $16 million deal or he rejects that $16 million deal, I got to be blunt with you. That is bad news for the Edmonton Oilers. What do you think?
Here's the thing. I don't think that McDavid will be signing for anything more than 14.
Really?
Listen, I'm going to give you the same logic I gave for Kaprizov, right?
Okay.
Connor McDavid, I don't think is like Kirill Kaprizov. Connor McDavid's better than Kirill Kaprizov. However, Connor McDavid also knows that in order to build a team around him, in order to have a guy like Leon Draisaitl either on his wing or as his second line center, to have a guy like Zach Hyman on his wing, to play with a guy like Nugent Hopkins, to have a great defenseman like Evan Bouchard, right? The money's got to come from somewhere. And it can't come from Connor McDavid taking up 10% of the cap. Well, it won't be 10%, but whatever the percentage is, it can't come from Connor McDavid taking up a good chunk of the cap. And he knows that. The Oilers know that. And if he truly does want to win a Stanley Cup in Edmonton, he's got to realize that a pay cut is what's got to happen.
So if the number's 14, then why hasn't he signed yet?
Because because here's the thing. Like it could be the money. I don't know. But in my opinion, I think that Connor McDavid knows if he wants to win, he's gonna have to take a pay cut than what he can get on the open market. But if he's like, I don't believe in what's going on here in Edmonton, I don't know what's gonna happen here with the Oilers, I don't know if I can win a cup here because of these contracts, these players, these guys, right? It's that is what can also take effect into him, right? And you could be like, well, I'm just going to throw this team is not even like going to be in a question, maybe, but like, let's say I like what San Jose has there. I'm not saying he's going into San Jose, but like, just hear me out. If there's a team out there where he where he likes, I can build something over there. I can be. Well, of course, he could still be the number one guy anywhere, but I can be the number one guy. I can lead these guys to a championship. There's players around me that can like help build me up. We're not so top heavy. There's depth. There's everything. We got good coaching, good goaltending, all of the above. Maybe he goes out and does that. I don't know. I'm not an insider. I don't know Connor McDavid personally. This is just like a speculation that we're having with him because we don't know anything. Right, we're two kids that we're two teenagers that are just talking, right? Yeah, we're talking out of our asses right now. We don't know anything. We don't know. I'm not sitting across the table from Connor McDavid in contract negotiations. I don't know what's going on. But if I was put in the position of Connor McDavid and I wanted to win in Edmonton, I'd have to figure out. I think I'm going to have to take a pay cut if this is where I want to win. If I want my money, but I still want a chance to win, I'd go find a young team that can build and maybe has some potential to go out there right away and win a cup. But
I'm sick and tired of hearing Toronto. Like I am genuinely.
It's not happening. They got rid of Mitch Marner. It's not happening. Okay, you could say, we got rid of Mitch Marner to build room for Connor McDavid. Ooh, Tavares took a pay cut just for Connor McDavid. Ooh, no, it's not happening. Get your head out of your ass.
Yeah, shut up, guys. Like, oh my god, oh my god, listening to all these podcasts. Oh, he's coming here. He's coming. Well, I saw there's this one person, like only 350 days until McDavid's a Maple Leaf. Shut the hell up. Seriously.
Here's the thing, Nordic. You think you have it bad. You do not have to deal with MLSE every day.
That's true. I live in America. I don't see it all the time. Yeah, I mean, again, like you know what I think is going to happen with both McDavid and Kaprizov. They probably sign in some term of the aspect a bridge deal, and they get paid still a shitload of money, but they only sign for maybe like 4 years. So then that way, when their contract is up and they're done, they can either take way more of a pay cut, get paid way more money, or they can go somewhere else to win. That's the way I see it. So that's what I think should happen. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but regardless, that's what we're going to leave it at there with the Kirill Kaprizov situation.